Hello, it's Jodene from the Scrapbook Store. Thanks for joining me today. I'm just going to be making a fun little mixed media style tag using Distress Oxide inks and Distress inks today. I just thought you might enjoy playing along with me or just watching and maybe hopefully get some tips from my video today. I'm just starting with a bit of Vicky Bouton mixed media cardstock here, and I've wet the cardstock and then I've added my Distress inks to my work surface. Now any slick surface will work for this, or especially if you have a glass mat, that'd be perfect. And I'm using the ink smushing technique, adding a bit of water to both my ink and the paper, and then putting the paper face down into the ink. And then I'll just do this layer by layer. I'm going to add some twisted citron as well. So I'll wet that. And then I'm just going to use a little bit of acetate here because you can see where you're going to put the colour, and I just wanted to kind of fill in the white spaces a little bit and overlap. So I have a little bit more control by using that acetate to put over the top, and then I'll dry that layer off completely. I find if you do dry the layers before adding the next layer, you do get those beautiful depths of colours and layers with the Distress ink, so they're perfect for that. I'm just adding a little bit more of the twisted citron. I think it needs a little bit more contrast, so I'm just going to go in with a little bit more peacock feathers in the Distress ink. And again, I'll use my acetate this time so that I can pop that on exactly where I would like it to go. This is a beautiful colour combination, this one, and one I do use quite a bit. It's one of my favourites. I just love that beautiful bright green with the blues. I'm just going to use my brush and a bit of water and just splatter a few more little droplets onto the front of that as well. I'm just going to dry that off really well before I go on to the next step. And I'm using some visible image stamps today. They've got some great mark making stamps, and I'll be using a few of these sets today. This grid one is one of my favourites, as well as the circle set. I've had a lot of use out of that one as well, and they stamp beautifully as well. So I'm just using some VersaFine Clear ink here. You could use black archival as well if you wanted. The VersaFine is waterproof once it's dry and heat set. And I do love the crisp image it gives, but I'm not going to be laying any more liquid onto this afterwards, so the VersaFine Clear is a perfect option to use. I'm just going to add a little bit more detail now to the background with the circles. And I love that they all mix and match so well. All of the stamps I'm using today are from Visible Image. I'm also going to be using the Wings of Change butterfly stamp. And this is one we're going to be using in my upcoming class this weekend. It's such a great versatile set. And if you're interested in that, we will be doing these techniques in my class as well. So if you're in Perth and would like to join in, please feel free to book a space. I've just used the butterfly in the light blue to add a little bit more interest to the background, but I will come in as well and just add a few more black highlights, more bold highlights. And once that's done, I'm just going to cut this tag down with a tag die from Tim Holtz. Now I usually add my black splatters a little bit later, so I'm just going to go straight in now with my butterflies. I'm going to stamp these onto the card directly, and then what I will do is create another background to stamp the butterflies again, which I'll then cut out. This gives a great dimension, but by stamping these on the tag, I can actually just have the antenna there and I don't have to fussy cut them, and I can lay out exactly where I'd like to have them. So once I've got those in place, I'm just going to get a little bit of black soot distress ink, and I'm just going to go around the edges to add a bit of depth to that tag. Now you could add tags to your art journals or your create a tag book if you like. You could also do this design on a card, which I have done, and you can see on our Instagram. This same colours and very similar design, but in a card format, in an A2 card. So if you are interested in a card more than a tag, then be sure to check that out, but the technique will be the same. And I'm just adding my splatters now, using a little bit of the black soot ink. And just make sure that's dry really well. I'm just going to add a few more splatters in the blue for more interest. You can never have too many splatters if you ask me, but that's just my opinion. Love it. The more dimension the better. And I'm just going to speed this up a little bit because this is exactly how we did the first panel, and I'm going to repeat that again on another panel. I sort of thought of this later, but I could have just cut one large panel in the beginning, inked the whole lot, and then just cut the tag out and then cut my butterflies out as well. So you could do that to save you a bit of time. I'm just doing a smaller background now because I know I'm just going to stamp those 3 butterflies on it. But all the same processes I used earlier. And I've just fussy cut those butterflies out now after stamping them with the VersaFine Clair onto that second background. And I'm just sort of folding them in the middle to make those wings pop up a little bit. And I will use some glue down the center, but I'll pop them up just under the wings with a little bit of foam tape afterwards. If I was doing this on a card front, I would probably just put foam tape under all of the butterflies to really make them stand off the page a little bit. But for the tag, I think a small amount of dimension is fine. And then I'm just going to add a pre-stamped sentiment that I already had done from some projects I did yesterday. That was also a visible image stamp set. And it has lots of different nice art journal-y kind of stamp sets. And I have used the Chase Your Dreams. I've just stamped that in black, and I've splattered it with a little bit of the Salvage Patina. And once I've got those butterflies on with that foam tape, I will just add that sentiment in the middle. And then that will complete my little project for today. And obviously if you're going to add it to a little tag ring or something like that, you could also put some thread or ribbon around the top through the hole. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed my project, and maybe you'll give it a try. It's such a great versatile technique, and you can use it in your journals, also in your cards and mixed media projects. Have a great day.